Tranna, I'm so excited. Are you excited?
I'm more excited than you.
You are more excited than me?
Of course.
This is the first interview that we're doing.
And we are so lucky to have the incredible Jen Kirkman.
Thank you, guys.
Who can't take a compliment.
I cannot. Have I been saying your name wrong? You say Tranna.
Tranna.
I say Tranna. Okay.
Yeah, like Anna Wintour.
Because Anna Wintour,
exactly.
right. And I'm like, wait, should it be Anna Wintour?
Some people do say Anna.
Oh,
but I mean, I like it always.
It's literally the best name.
But now Tranna in Montreal, it's starting to be like on a first name basis. It's only Tranna. Like the Wintour is like people are
like
starting.
Your share.
Yeah. Like it's starting to
great.
be just like Tranna.
And you
That's
too.
amazing.
I feel like it's Jen.
Yeah.
It's like you're the only Jen who matters.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
I will not deny that.
That's amazing. So Montreal, crazy. You come here almost every year? Every second year? Every 3 years?
Yeah, I came. I've only been doing this festival like a couple of years, like 4 years. So I skipped it last year.
Okay.
I was in Venice. No big deal.
Oh,
Just needed
great,
some me
yeah.
time. And then, I think this is my 4th year.
But you posted about being part French Canadian, right?
Yeah, my grandmother. Okay, so
oh my God, maybe we're cousins, Jen.
my great grandmother, her last name was, I say Courtemanche, but someone was like, it's Courtemanche.
Courtemanche, yes.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Courtemanche.
Oh, yay.
But I'm not related to Michel. I mean, as far as I know, I don't know.
Oh, have you seen him perform?
No.
So Michel Courtemanche is like a famous comic here.
Yeah.
Really famous in the 80s and 90s, and then he like sort of dropped out of the scene.
Maybe we are.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's we'll talk more about her later, but a lot of people are related to Madonna through her French Canadian heritage. Like apparently apparently Madonna, Celine Dion, and Ellen DeGeneres are all connected through the French
Because
Canadian
Madonna's mom
lineage.
is originally from French Canada. Like when she performs Quebec City, she's like, "This is my people," like
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
I'm like Madonna.
Exactly.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Do you think? How did she find out? Did she got a 23andMe or whatever?
You know how she is. She would be like obsessed with like her lineage and like
Yeah,
where she's
but
from.
can someone,
hoping
like-
that it would be more glamorous than French Canada.
Yeah.
But
She's
calm
a
down, Madonna.
She's a Fortin. Fortin and Courtin. These are really, really French Canadian last names. Like, Fortin. I'm French Canadian.
What's your last name?
Leblanc.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Leblanc is more of a sort of like...
Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, related to Matt. Exactly. That's pretty crazy.
Wait, so could an average person who isn't Madonna find out my lineage going back to Celine Dion?
Yeah.
You could probably...
There's
yeah.
all those like ancestry
And I'm afraid of
heritage
those.
sites. It's better not to know, I think. You know?
I want to know.
Find
I
it
just
out
don't
by
want
chance.
I just don't want to give them my info. I just feel like it's secretly a way to track
I'm
us.
sure, because it's so alluring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to know where you come from, where your people are from, who you might
And
be
especially in
related
the
to.
age of the algorithm, I feel like all of that information, all of that data could just like, that detrack you. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, there's something going on with that.
So-
But anyway,
Your mom, like, tell me about your mom. Like, in all of your specials, all of your shows. I just saw your show this week at Mainline
Yeah.
Theater. It was amazing, and you just talk in your mom's voice, and it's hilarious. But she seems so important in your life.
she is, and I think it's a great. Well, maybe not like old. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was gonna say it's like got a great female comic tradition to like imitate your mom, but I actually got it from listening to Howard Stern.
Really?
Because a big part of his show is talking about his relationship with his parents, and I think he has a really similar relationship with his parents that I do with mine, where they were the focal point of his life growing up because of how he was raised. Like his mother was very obsessed with him, and like. So he talks about them all the time and does their voices, and it's hilarious. And so I was listening to him before I started doing comedy, and then I used to imitate my mom around the house when I was little because she always has a smile on her face, but it's not friendly
Right.
smile.
Yeah,
it's this weird
cold
just expression.
Yeah.
And so she'll say the darkest things. Like I used to have a joke in my act that was like, the neighbor the newspaper's still on his front lawn and he hasn't come out all morning. He could be dead. And so like, it's just weird things. So
Is she funny?
She is, but she doesn't know
Not
she is.
intentionally.
Right.
Yeah.
And when she
Right.
tries to be funny,
Then it's
she is
not.
not
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, great.
So she's important in my life because my sisters are older than me by 10 and 14 years. So when I was 4, they weren't really interested in me full time. And my mom didn't.
That is great, though.
Yeah.
I'm an only child. That is great. I envy that.
I had a very much only child experience. I think that's why she's so important. I mean, not that my dad isn't, but like he was working. And so I didn't go to nursery school. So it was like me and mom, my whole,
And her mom was French Canadian.
Her mom was French Canadian.
But she's super Boston, right?
Yeah. And so my grandmother, Jeanette, was actually super Boston too, because she moved from here, Montreal, to Lowell, Massachusetts, like super working class, mill town. She was like one of the girls that worked in the Lowell, like,
mill factories at the
mill
time.
factories,
Early
sexual
20th century.
harassment,
Absolutely.
the whole thing.
Yeah, crazy.
So I come from a line of women that all their husbands died young, except my mom. My dad's still alive. Who hate men and who are just like
That is so
they're
great.
pigs and we're better than them. Like all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And do you feel like that has found its way to your sort of attitude towards men?
I think so. I think I'm starting to realize it's in my DNA. Like, I never thought about it until, do you watch Transparent at all?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know that episode where they were like talking about the like DNA of like you can feel your Jewish ancestors?
Yes,
whatever.
their pain, their experiences, yes.
And so I feel like maybe I have that with my grandmother because she had anxiety the same way that I did. I say did because it's not, she never got it handled.
Yeah.
So she had it until the day she died and I don't live with it every day. So, and I just feel like it was filtered not only in her words to me, which was just like, it's fine, you didn't meet your grandfather. He wasn't a great guy. Men are terrible. Blah, blah, blah. Like, she wasn't like men are terrible, don't have a relationship.
Right.
She meant like globally, like just do your thing.
Yeah.
They're oppressors. It's horrible. That kind of stuff. So I think her words influenced me. But after I saw that episode, I started wondering if maybe there's some like karmic, I'm feeling the pain of all the women.
Yeah.
Like my therapist thinks that like you sort of like carry the trauma of your grandparents or great grandparents in your body.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
that's
just
the thing we're
it's
talking
called
about.
Absolutely.
epigenetics.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
epigenetics?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
I've
real thing.
That's a thing.
It's a real. It's something that's
Another way
being
to
studied.
justify how we are. That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I do like that.
Watching you work is also like I feel like you need to do this because if you don't, you're just gonna go crazy. You're gonna die. Like
I think
feel,
that's true.
I feel that's how you are, and I really love that. And I really love that because it's like I'm not wasting my time when I'm, watching you work. I'm like, this is someone who needs to do this. This is great.
Well, it's funny because I also say like I've been doing comedy a long time, and to do it for a living, like you obviously have to work at it a lot. And so I didn't intend to start touring at the age I did. So I'm like, I'd like to stop now. Like I have a necklace line coming out in September.
Really?
Based on this one I made. This is over 40. And it's coming
Amazing.
out with like a real jewelry company. And it's just a trial for a couple months. But anyway, I'm like, if that did well, I would totally just go do that. Or like if I found a bag of money, I would just read.
Because comedy is a hard life. People don't really
I think so.
realize that.
But I think you're right. I do have to do it when I'm up there. Like whatever I'm saying, I must say. But I don't, in general, have to be performing all the
Right.
time because I'm extremely getting lazier about it as I get older.
Right.
But you're right. When I'm up there, I really need to be saying it. I really mean it.
And the books are all like part of the writing. I feel it's constant. The Twitter, the books is just a constant flow of like thoughts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people with anxiety struggle with that. It's just like you have so many thoughts. Yeah. There's so many things you need to talk about, address. And I think in this time it's like politically, emotionally, all of these things. And like just like following your work, it's like, okay, wow, like it's like a wave. Like, what's Jen's wave today? And like,
that's
we're just,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like getting my anxiety under control now is like, although I put out so much, I do weirdly feel not like I have less thoughts, but that I love quiet time and being like I don't feel like, oh my God, what do I do with these? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I like to express them, but I'm also comfortable sitting in it, sitting in my feelings. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The more I sit in my feelings, the less I have to say. So it's interesting that like not as you get healthier, you get less funny or less creative, but like there's less of a, I must say this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then you start getting interested
And a lot
in
of
other
people would
things.
think of you as like the lady who has no kids, the lady who's like bragging about having like no kids,
Yeah.
or because that's a lot of what your work is about. Is just like I don't need to like conform to this idea of what a woman is, at a certain age.
I mean,
and I
I
think it's really
I don't mean to say that. I say like I just didn't want kids. It was a non-issue.
I get that. I was like, it's such a relief to
I
hear
just
that.
and then just people started piling on. And then when I wrote about it from the funny angle of why do people care, then it became like, this is your statement. I'm like, no, I'm trying to, I have no interest in kids. So I don't even have an interest in talking about how I don't want kids. Like kids don't interest me on any level. So I'm like, I just don't want kids. And then I thought everyone would be like, great, and go away. And it made it bigger.
It makes people react.
Yeah,
when you
I
say
know.
that.
Which is ridiculous. Like I don't get any sort of like anyone sort of calling out someone on any sort of life choice.
Yeah.
That is always so strange to me, you know, and to always have to be in a position of defending something that is just a very natural personal choice.
Right.
Like,
and some things I don't even think are a choice because like I feel like that implies that I sat down. I was like pros and cons. I was just like it just was never
natural.
Dawned on me.
Yeah, it just exactly.
Yeah.
And that and also like if any people having a child is, you know, it's going to be like a sort of decision, you know, they weighted everything and they didn't, you know, it's really
yeah, there's that other side of it too.
Yeah.
They should be weighing it.
Yeah, I think so.
But so you must be like, who would you consider as part of your like chosen family? Like who do you choose to surround yourself with?
I was going to say people that I don't even know.
Yes, I get that.
Madonna's my chosen family.
Yeah, oh my God.
The other people, well, my really good friends that I actually met working at Chelsea lately. It's interesting because I feel like your chosen family can change. And that's something I'm learning that, just because I met someone when I first moved to Los Angeles, maybe I was in a different place and this person doesn't work in my life anymore. And you think like you have to stay with everybody. And so
would Chelsea be in your
No, she was just a boss, really.
Okay.
You know, not in a bad way, but we just have a completely different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And she's not an intimate person. She's not a you and me, let's have dinner.
Right.
It's like, let's have a giant party, and you know, like that kind of thing.
I get that.
So my dear friend Chris Frangiola and my friend Sarah Colonna, I feel like they're chosen family. I knew them from that show, and they're both stand-ups. We're all the same age. Well, Chris is older. And then I have a really good friend from college. Her name is Liz, and we kind of reconnected over the past couple of years because she lives in New York, and I go to New York all the time. So it's these people that just get. Oh, and my best friend from growing up, Shauna. I might not even talk to her more than twice a year, but we get each other, and I get her, and we have this. You know, I get her family issues, and they're just like they're in my heart. I mean, they're just like. I think it's just there's a few people from childhood and then a few current people. And then I think the world of comedy in a way, even though I was just complaining before the mic went on that I hate staying at the hotel here because you just run into comics all the time.
Yeah.
But in general, the family of comedy.
Yeah.
Like
it's so dysfunctional and it's like a real family.
Well, I thought one thing that was really funny when you were in bed with Joan Rivers was when you said, I try not to know other comics. It was so hilarious and just so real and in that moment.
I don't even remember saying that, but I kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
I know I have a lot of friends who worry about like if they're accepted in their local scene, and I'm like, you don't want to be. Like, just be your own thing. Like, just
because that's what people get so caught up on in comedy is impressing other comics.
Yes. I mean, I feel that way. If I heard a comic was at my show, I would die. I mean, you told me
I would only die
Tuesday night.
if there was like certain like if you were at my show, I'd be nervous. I would want it, but it would be a good kind of nervous. Like I would want to.
Well, doing comedy as queer people, both of us, it's just like we sort of like it's this new time where we can do it, but we're not. I don't feel like I'm really part of it, you know. And it's something that's new
part of the comedy world.
Part of the comedy world.
I think we're in this position where, and I'm sure this has been the case for you too, where you sort of have to at a certain point. Can't wait for doors to open. You can't wait for people to see you or like you or understand you. And you have to create your own space and own that space and open it up to other people that want to be a part of it. It's just daunting sometimes. It's like it's all on your shoulders. When you don't have that like mainstream industry backing or interest, but this is what you have to do in your life, it just all falls on your shoulders to make everything happen.
And I assume there's so many people that have been dying to hear your voices, you know, like that they don't know you know what I mean? Like they find you, like you find your audience and they're like, oh, thank God. It's just been all these, you know, same old the whole time.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like, how do you get them to find you is the hard part.
It's the really hard part.
Yeah, but once you do, it's like you don't even need these mainstream people. You look back and you go, oh, they didn't have anything for me ever.
Right. Do you feel that now?
A little
where
bit.
You're at?
I kind of found like I want more of them. I know there's more out there.
Yes.
I know there's more of my people out there. It's really like pulling teeth to find them. It's like I remember opening up On the Road as a feature act in 2008 for Greg Behrendt. Do you know him? He's so funny. He's great. And he wrote this book. He's just not that into you. He was a consultant on Sex and the City. He got the book deal. He's nothing like that. He's like a San Francisco comic. He talks about like rock and roll in his act, like rock and roll. It's like 100. But that was just like a pure fluke. But he sold out all these clubs that year because women were coming to see that guy. And his whole act was like, I don't have any advice for you ladies. Like, but they enjoyed his comedy anyway. But he said to me, these people might not be back next year because they like the book. They don't. He goes, but there's 10 people here tonight that will stay and be my fans, and then that'll grow and that'll grow, and that always stuck with me. So it's like even if it's 10 new people a year in each city, like it'll grow and grow. And so I feel like I'm always marketing, which I kind of enjoy.
Yeah. Us too.
Yeah, I used to do sales, and so it's like fun. I used to work at Boston Ballet, and I did group sales and like tried to get people who wouldn't otherwise be interested in going to the ballet. Like we worked with like inner city kids who like never had the opportunity to even know, stuff like that. So I love selling.
That's a big element of comedy.
Yeah,
because like people could stay at home, watch Netflix, and watch your special on Netflix, but but to have people come out watch live comedy at a seedy downtown club. Watch some people they don't know. It's like a big element, like what's into their...
Well, I was talking about this last night with my agent because he was saying like he thinks the younger generation, if they know you from TV, he was talking about another client of his who's really well known, but like the young people that like this guy don't necessarily come out.
Right. Because
they're like, well, I see you on TV. And I'm like, oh my God. That's why at my show, I make people turn on their phones and take my picture and tweet about it. Because I feel like, so if I'm in Minneapolis and there's someone who's like, Jen's in town, she's great, I'm not going to go. I mean, that's happened to me. I've been in Vermont and this girl, like I was in Burlington at a little farmer's market. And she's like, oh my God, are you Jen Kirkman? I'm such a fan. I'm like, I'm performing tonight across the street. And she was like, oh, well, cool. Have a good show. I'm like, okay.
I know, that drives me crazy. That's why I'm always saying, if you're going to stalk me, buy a ticket to the show. That's the least you can do.
You have the same thing that I do because it's so funny because so my whole point was if I'm in a town and then I tweet a picture, if someone says I went to the show, it was great, that's going to make that person go.
Right.
Who's going to sit on their butt. They're like, oh, people are having fun. But I have that same spirit that you do where when I was on Chelsea lately, we all started to get recognized a lot and it didn't do anything for me. Like my friends would get excited from the show, they'd be in the airport. Oh my God, I got recognized. I go, how does that affect your bank account? Yeah. What do they buy? Do they buy a CD? Do they buy I don't care if someone recognizes me on a recognize my website that has my stuff you can buy. Recognize that, please.
But it is getting harder to get people to come out to a live show, and to me that there's nothing more horrifying than the idea of there no longer being that live experience. I feel like it's the last thing. It's that we have. Thing. It's the last thing that brings us face to face with one another to collectively experience something.
I think I worried about this when the internet first became in like 2004 when like YouTube came in. I really worried about this. I was like, comedy's over, and then it got better because of the internet. So I think it's going to be okay, especially like seeing how many people marched and stuff like that. Like people are still leaving their house. I think it's going to be okay. I think they need this world. And I feel like this is going to sound so like Norma Desmond, but like the crowd is sort of becoming a chosen family.
Exactly.
For
yes.
me,
Oh, that's really the case for us. Absolutely.
It really feels like I mean, I don't want to be anyone's like therapist or anything, but I do a podcast and people seem to relate to it and I'll get letters like, thanks for... I still forget that it's taboo to talk about certain things. For certain people still don't want to talk about depression or anxiety or whatever. And I'm like, what? I'm just so... But I've always lived in just like cosmopolitan cities.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when I can picture that I know, I don't know who's exactly in the audience, but I know someone wrote me a letter once that maybe they're here or someone like them is here. And I feel like if you guys didn't like me, I wouldn't have a job. So it does feel like well, not that family's always supportive, but it feels like what
healing.
family should feel like, supportive.
Yeah. There is that like when a show is just so right and everything is working and everything is clicking, that connection is so unbelievably powerful.
Yeah.
There's really nothing like it. But did you think that like when you were that girl working at DKNY, carrying Joan Rivers' memoir in your purse, like, do you ever think back to that girl and like, is this sort of like, is this surreal for you?
That story's crazy. It's like
I know, it's
you
insane.
just moved to New York.
Yeah.
Working at DKNY and you ran past Joan Rivers on
I
the
had
street.
her book. I'd read her book years before I started doing comedy, Enter Talking. It's a great memoir. Everyone should read it. And then I carried it in my bag because I was a very dramatic. I mean, when I first started doing comedy, I left.
You're
Yeah.
What's your rising? Do you know?
Virgo.
Oh, you're Virgo rising.
I think so.
Oh, wow.
I think so.
Yeah,
I have to
okay.
double check it. But if not, it's Capricorn.
Okay.
But I went to, so comedy in Boston less than a year. Then I moved to New York. I've only been there a year. I'm already like, why aren't I famous? This is so hard. I'm like a jerk. It's like
it's the late 90s.
Yeah.
Also.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is so hard. I don't even know how hard it's going to get. And so I had Joan Rivers' book in my bag always, just as like the way someone carries a crystal or something.
Yeah.
It was like my touchstone. And her book is all about struggling and comedy and not making it for 20 years. Something in me knew you're going to have the same path. I knew in my heart you're going to have the same path. And so I always wanted to meet her, and she was never performing anywhere as far as I could see, and there wasn't really websites yet. And
Right, yeah.
I walked past her on the street. We were the only two people. And I was like, don't bother her. Don't ask her for advice, because she would just say, keep doing it.
Yeah.
I can't complain to her.
Or worse. She
Yeah.
would have done, like, I don't think she would have
Give
even
up.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't complain after 2 years when her book was about how long it took her, and she didn't feel a part of her community. She was
Right.
It was all dudes, and one of the only people that was nice to her is Lenny Bruce.
Can you imagine like being a woman doing stand up in New York in the 60s? And just like, this is like, we think it's hard today, but like,
I know.
it must have been like, it's a completely different, the expectations and, just
I don't think I would
in
have been able
general.
to handle it.
Well, I think the like shot of luck of getting on Carson, but it was the gay community that kept her going. They were the only people laughing at her and coming to see her and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm sure that is her chosen family in a way.
But then you got to meet her.
And then I
be
got to
friends
meet
with
her. And yeah. I mean, she was like I think she was being nice to me, which is great. Like, it's what you want. I think she was like humoring me.
Right.
But yeah, so I got to do In Bed with Joan, and I didn't tell her about that moment. Like, I knew, but the greatest thing about doing that was you tape it at Melissa's house, and it's like they makeshift. Well, it's a real bedroom, but
Right.
they make it into a set. And she goes, I don't talk to anyone on camera. Off camera. I just go into my thing. I'm like, oh, I won't bother you.
Yeah.
She had no idea how much I loved her. She didn't pick me to be on it. It was like a last minute cancellation of my manager, but it was all perfect.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was all perfect. And I happened to be on hiatus from work that week. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Because Chelsea and Joan had this big feud, which was really stupid on Chelsea's part. And so I was like, I couldn't have said, can I leave work for the day to go do something with
Right.
Joan Rivers? So it was kismet that this one day I was free. And so the airplane had just crashed in San Francisco.
In the bay, on the water?
Yeah, it was like the Asian pilots,
Yeah.
and they had just sent those fake names to the news, and they read it out loud, and it was like, "We Too Low" was the name of the pilot, and all this stuff. And I don't know what I said. I made a joke to one of the crew guys while they were testing the lighting, and I wore a dress that was making the camera go crazy, Murray or whatever the word is. And I think she felt bad for me about that, because I was like, "Oh, I wanted to wear this dress for Joan."
Right.
And they're like, "Well, sorry, you have to change." And then I was like, "Oh," and then I made a joke about the thing, and she looked up from wherever she was, and she goes, "You're funny." And she goes, I'll screen test with you. And she's got in bed with me, and the whole I don't talk off camera went away.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm like, I only have a t-shirt. She's like, I'll give you one of my feather boas. And she gave me it. And then
wow.
she gave me it.
That's
Oh,
the
you kept
dream.
it.
No, when I walked out, one of the crew guys took it. I'm like, I swear to God, she gave it to me. She
And they
gave
didn't
it to me.
believe you?
They were just like, we need to, she gives everyone everything. We're taking it back. I'm like,
my
they were kind of like the crazy old ladies I was giving things.
Right.
But she did. I think Sarah Silverman said she gave her a coat.
Right.
But yeah, so I got to meet her doing that, and then I said to her, we were both going to be in Montreal. I was like, I think I'm doing your gala, and she was like, I don't even know my schedule. I'm like, my parents are seeing you at Foxwoods Casino next week, which is in
Right.
Connecticut. And she's like, okay, they'll be my guest. And her assistant arranged all this stuff. So my parents.
So your mom met Joan Rivers. That was my one question, Jen. I was like, I really want to know if Jen's mom met Joan Rivers. Mm-hmm. She did.
But you weren't there to witness the meeting.
No, so they got front row tickets and Joan made them feel really special. She's really good at this.
Yeah.
And so she came out and was like, where are the Kirkmans? I got to meet the Kirkmans. And my mom looks really young for her age. Like she really doesn't have any wrinkles around her eyes and she's in her 70s. Like she's just, you can see it other places. But Joan was like, if you had work done, oh my God, who does your work? You're beautiful. And it was like, she's hamming it up.
Yeah.
But because Joan's parents never supported her, I think she assumed mine didn't. But at this point they do.
Right.
Like maybe at first they were a little freaked out. But she was like, your daughter's just everything you want Joan Rivers to say to your parents about she's great, she's going to do well. And Joan had taken me aside and was like, you're going to do well. You can never stop. Like, it was all that kind of stuff. Like, people aren't going to get it. You can't stop. Men this, blah, blah, blah. And so my parents were just in heaven. That's it. They'll do whatever she says. They'll follow her off a cliff. But yeah, she was amazing to them. So I will never forget that. My mom, oh my God. Can I just tell a funny story?
When she left the show, did she call you? Your mom?
Yeah. I was, so this is the best part. So when she died, I don't have the voicemail anymore. My mother, we lost her. You have two Joans in your life. Me, your mother Joan, and your comedy mother Joan. And
your mom's name Joan?
Yeah.
This is too good.
Well, my mom's name is Joanne, spelled Joan.
Okay.
And she used to hate when people called her Joan. But after she met Joan Rivers, she's Joan suddenly. And so she's crying and crying. And then a week later, two weeks later, my mom had to get some kind of minor surgery on like her hand or something. And she had to go under anesthesia. And she was like, I told the doctors I was friends with Joan Rivers. Don't you do to me what you did to her. These old women go under and they die. I was like,
it was really
please
dramatic.
Do not scream. I was
so
friends with
dramatic.
Joan Rivers.
It was so dramatic. Crazy. So you're obsessed with Madonna.
Yes.
You are? That's crazy. So we just did a show that's called Crazy Sexy 90s because we grew up we're 80s kids who grew up in the 90s.
I saw that. I wanted to see it.
I wish you could have seen it.
I wasn't here.
Such
and it was
a blast.
It was like this cabaret show that had like music and dance and sketch and just everything. And it was just so powerful because everyone in the audience was basically around our age and had grown up with the same sort of cultural experience. And it really felt like everyone that night was just like reconnected with their inner child. And it was just like everyone together.
And we had a bit about Madonna and how conflicted we are today about how she is. Like I really idolized her in the 90s. And you also remember her from the 80s.
Yeah,
so do you
I was
have
like a little
favorite
kid. Oh, the favorite era is Blonde Ambition.
Yes.
Just in her prime and with the just the suits. Like when she went on Arsenio Hall with like just that white pantsuit and it's the best
and the
era.
Keep It Together finale and Truth or Dare.
It's
so
good. Oh, you should watch the documentary about the dancers.
Oh, we did.
Okay.
Did you cry?
No, but I don't cry really at movies.
Okay. It really got to me because I thought like we'd heard everything we needed to hear about that time, but there was still so much.
I know. It was like everyone had HIV and wouldn't say anything.
I know.
It was so crazy. Like, wait, what do you mean you're conflicted about Madonna?
Because
today?
She's unraveling.
That's what I love about her.
She's the new Joan Crawford.
This is what I love because I had heard that she was like, I'm never doing social media. That's for losers. And then someone got to her and they're like, you have to if you want to keep relevant. And I love that I follow her on Instagram and it's
her
like
manager,
and it's like her in Africa, her at home. Like I like seeing the real her.
I don't.
Interesting.
I don't like seeing the typos. I don't like because to me growing up she was like the smartest, the strongest, the most fearless.
I think this is all part of it.
But she's so insecure.
I love it.
And she's really not that smart.
No,
in a business sense,
but
yes.
That's amazing. Like that insecurity and vulnerability. Like she's finally being.
But she's
that
so
part
unaware
of
of it.
I think she's aware. I do. Yes.
I don't think she's aware of her weaknesses.
Maybe she blocks it out, but she must know she feels insecure, right?
I guess it's kind of like kids who like you knew you were gay, right? Like
she's just not that self-aware.
I don't know.
There's a great thing on YouTube where she's answering questions from the audience.
I love that.
Yeah. But you can see a rat in the
I
background.
know,
What
which
the
is
fuck
crazy.
Is that?
it goes to show no matter how far you get in life, there's always a fucking rat in the background. I mean, you know, there's always a rat behind you.
For anyone listening, there's this thing where she's in her bathroom,
which is like a living room.
Yeah, it's like a mansion, and she's answering questions on YouTube, and then there's a rat. That runs by.
Yeah, exactly.
Under the window.
In New York?
Yeah. So I don't get, but I mean, you know, she can just move if.
Yeah. Don't worry about Madonna.
No, it's fine.
But anyway, her thing with trying to be funny is very upsetting.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is, I remember this from long ago when she was friends with Sandra Bernhard.
Yeah,
and they went on
exactly.
Letterman. Like, she's never been funny, and she really wants to be.
Exactly.
We really just want to be something we're not.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, we want to be pop stars.
Yeah.
Me too. I want to do the Blonde Ambition tour.
We should. Let's remount it.
Do you guys sing?
I do.
She sings.
Oh, you do?
I
don't
sing.
sing.
I dance.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is perfect.
Yeah.
You can be,
and I do a little of both badly.
You could be Donna DeLorean and you can be Nikki Harris, even though you're as
Wait,
white.
you're Madonna in this?
Yes.
No.
So Jen,
God.
we have a few. We just chosen something, just top of your head. Chosen family member.
I'm going to say Joan Rivers is my chosen second mom.
Amazing. Chosen TV shows from the 80s.
Family Ties.
Oh, yeah.
Moonlighting.
The producer, yeah. Chosen Madonna song, just one song. Even more specific.
Just first thing that comes to your mind.
Rebel Heart.
Oh, wow.
The Road Less Traveled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chosen summer memory.
Public pool growing up. I loved it.
Yes. And chosen luxury.
First Class.
Oh, great.
Amazing.
This is it. This has been the interview. You've been
my God,
amazing.
I love it.
Thank you so
Jen,
much.
we love you
guys.
so much.
Can you
so
do
much.
a side podcast that's just about Madonna?
We could. We would be.
Well, we've
you.
sort of
good
like
at it.
positioned ourselves as like the pop cultural savants of Montreal. You know, people turn to us when they need to know what to think about all these figures.
Well, all right. Well, I'll come back on sometime
Yes.
and we'll just only
You're
talk
part
about
of the
Madonna.
family. You're part of the family.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're totally.
This has
if
been-
you want to be part of our family,
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
we
Thank
love
you so much.
Love you guys.
Thanks.